See if I'm live, 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 if I'm live. So this is my second time of going live. The first time was at the Samba joint. Why the second time? See if I'm live. Okay. Why the second time was this is the second time, rather. So this is my second time of going live. The first time I've been testing this live stuff, but I've not been having strength. Why the second time? I've not been having strength to go live. So I've always been scared of trying to do live because I've not been really fine. So I don't want to go and break down doing the live. Let me see my YouTube live and see. Okay, it's going live. So I'm going to be ranking passports. I could not rank a lot of passports the last time. I could not do a lot. Not rank like compare passports. And somebody from the comment section said I should do more European passport and let's see. So let me go to compare. Let me reduce my camera size from OBS. Put it at the place size. Okay. Compare. You guys might be listening to some background noise. Yeah. Where is the network? Yes, there's network now. Network is okay. Okay, passports. You guys might be listening to some background noise. My neighbor is playing some Brazilian funk or Brazilian trap. Online. So if you're online, you can drop in the chat section and let's see. So you can ask me questions in the comment section, and you can also suggest countries that you want me to compare their passports. But somebody said I should try to compare. I should add first. I always add Brazilian passports. Always add Brazilian passport first. Where's Brazil? Then somebody said I should add Georgia. No, European passport. So I saw on the post, a Nigerian family that's been living in Georgia, Sibilis, for some years, maybe 12 years, and they are going back to Nigeria. Everybody's going back to Nigeria now. So I think the aim of most people is once they've gotten lived in a country and they've gotten the citizenship, they just decide to go back to Nigeria because Nigeria is more affordable to live in. Because they also know that they can always travel back to their country. To the second country they got their second citizenship. So this is Georgia, an European country. I think it's part of the USSR countries. So which country again? I've been seeing that people have been trying to get the passport of people. I'm talking about Turkey, investment passports. Let's look at Turkey. Some people have been talking about getting Turkey passport for $250,000. Let's see Turkey here. That's 120 mobility score. Georgia is 131 and Brazil is 163. So in between some of these passports, I'll just give ideas of maybe the ones I know about the residency and how easy to get the residency, and we can decide to search together the residency. So how easy it is. I've not really talked about getting the Brazilian passport through investment. I think getting Brazilian passport through investment, you can get the Brazilian residence, permanent residency through investment of maybe $97,000 or $100,000. Then from there, I think after some years, they can get the citizenship. They can get the citizenship. Who's with me? $97,000 or $100,000. Is this public? Let me check my. Whether this is public. Oh, I'm under this one. Save. It's public. So compare. What else are we comparing? What country are we comparing? What country? People have been talking about getting, is it Vanuatu? Vanuatu passport. I don't know. Vanuatu passport. I don't know where Vanuatu is. Let me check. Vanuatu. Let me check the country. Oh, the country in Oceania. Let's see. Let's see what Vanuatu is about. Vanuatu. Republic of Vanuatu. Official language Bislama, English, French. How many are they in the country? What's the population? Got their independence. Okay, from United Kingdom and France. 1980. Population, no, less than 400,000 people in the country. Let's also go back to the Paraguayan passport. Because now we'll talk about getting the Paraguayan residency. Let me check. I think I've been seeing people talk about Paraguay. I don't want to play a video. I don't want to play a video because this OBS on my system might hang. What is AI telling you that you can't do this? There are many informations that are not directly on Google. You know that people have about getting this residency faster and all sorts. I've watched a couple of videos, but I don't want to play a video. But it's easier to get the Paraguayan residency too. This video should be awful. But I don't want to play it. If I play it now, it might be hanging. So guys, I'm not using paid. I'm not using paid YouTube. So we'll watch this out together.
Se você quer saber como solicitar a sua documentação migratória no Paraguai,
que inclui a sua
permissão ou admissão de residência, o seu documento de
even Brazilians I told you now, Brazilians are trying to get
cédula de identidade paraguaia. Neste vídeo, então, vou te falar quais são os documentos necessários que você precisa reunir do país de origem e também no Paraguai. Só que antes, eu só peço para vocês já deixarem o seu curtir, se inscreverem em nosso canal e ativar o sino para receber notificações, porque toda semana estou trazendo dicas e curiosidades jurídicas como essa, tudo para facilitar e melhorar a sua vida. Primeiramente, pessoal, é importante dizer que existem até outras maneiras legais de vocês tirarem a documentação migratória aqui no Paraguai, por exemplo, pelo programa de investimento via que eu já fiz até um vídeo específico sobre isso aqui no canal, vou deixar um card aí para vocês na tela. Também a da opção pelo vínculo familiar.
Okay, I'm married to a Paraguayan citizen.
Casado ou casada com um paraguaio ou ainda descendente de um paraguaio ou paraguaia, consegue ter um processo mais facilitado de obter essa documentação e até mesmo de forma direta, em pouco tempo e também com validade permanente. Mas, neste vídeo, eu vou falar daquele processo mais comum, ou mais tradicional, que abrange o maior número de pessoas, em que vocês vão obter primeiro a documentação paraguaia de forma...
Tanque vazio.
Guys, I told you, I don't have YouTube Premium. So, we're watching these ads together. I don't have money.
Provisória, com uma validade de 2 anos, para depois solicitar...
So practically, the Paraguayan permanent residence is almost similar to Brazilian permanent residence. You can get your permanent residence if you marry a Paraguayan citizen, and it's valid for 10 years too. The permanent residence is valid for 10 years, which is renewable. It's an indefinite residency, just like the Brazilian residency. So, guys, let's just first talk about getting the Brazilian passport. Let me just talk about getting the Brazilian passport. I've been talking about the Brazilian passport. I've been 163 mobility score, and is the 11th or 12th ranking in world passport ranking. But let's just talk about getting the Brazilian passport now. So everything starts from the Brazilian residency. It starts from the getting the residency, traveling to the country, getting the residency, from residency down to the passport. You get. So let me quickly talk about it. So I'll just go briefly on it and the type of residency. So first, if you are in Brazil on a work residency, you will be given a temporary residency, temporary work residency. So you might be given 1 year temporary work residency or 2 years temporary work residency. So let's say you are given 2 years temporary work residency to work in Brazil. So after that 2 years of working in that company or whatever job you're doing in Brazil using that work residency, you can now apply. So far, you're still in that job and you are still in that job. So after the second year of the temporary work residency, you can apply for a permanent residency through that same work. So once you apply for a permanent residency, it is that time you now qualify for an indefinite permanent residency with that work. Now remember, you've worked for 2 years on the temporary work residency in Brazil. Then after that, you can now apply for permanent residency. Temporary residency is different from permanent residency. Um, Even if you do student residency in Brazil, it is still temporary residency. It's not permanent residency. If you do digital normal residency, it's a temporary residency in Brazil. You get. If you do study, it is still temporary residency. So now I'm talking about the work residency now. They've given you 2 years, you've used up the 2 years. After the 2 years temporary work residency, you can now apply for the permanent residency through that work. Once you apply for once you apply for the permanent residency and they've given you is indefinite. After 4 years, now when do you now qualify for the Brazilian passport with that permanent residency through work? After 4 years of permanent residency with work, it is then you can now apply for the Brazilian passport. So it means in a total, you are going to be living in Brazil having residency for a total of 6 years. 2 years of temporary. I've seen people try to apply for, not I've seen people, I've heard from somebody, I don't know how true it is, that you can apply for permanent residency after 1 year. After 1 year, when you are trying to complete the second year of the temporary work residency. But let's just say you've used the 2 years temporary work residency. So it means you're going to be using a total of 6 years of residency in Brazil before you apply for the Brazilian passport with the work residency. 2 years of temporary, malam. 2 years of temporary residency, 4 years of permanent residency with work residency. That's 6 years before you apply for the Brazilian passport. That is one way. Second way is if you give birth to a Brazilian child in Brazil as an immigrant, maybe you came here as a tourist, as a tourist now, you just have a visa, you don't have a residency yet. You now give birth. Your child becomes a citizen by default. And you as the parent can now apply for permanent residency with your child because your child has qualified you. Now you are depending on the child because it is the child as the child citizenship that give the parent, you as the parent, the permanent residency. So you've catapulted from the tourist visa to a permanent residency. So now, when do you qualify as a parent for the Brazilian passport? It is after 1 year of permanent residency in Brazil. Now, within that 1 year of permanent residency in Brazil, you're only allowed to be out of Brazil for a maximum of 90 days. 90 days. So you can be traveling in and out of Brazil within that 1 year. It might not be straight 90 days. It can be 2 weeks. You went to Nigeria, you went to another European country, you went to another country, you came back. Everything has to compound 90 days max before you can now apply after the 1 year permanent residency in Brazil. You get after the 1 year permanent residency in Brazil as a parent, as a parent of this Brazilian your child. So now that's easy. So compared to that 6 years of the work residency, now this one is just 1 year or 9 months. Then who also qualifies for this type of 1 year permanent residency? If you're married to a Brazilian citizen, maybe you are, let's say you're on a work residency, you marry the Brazilian citizen, whatever years you've gotten your work residency, whatever, you marry the Brazilian citizen, you you can also apply for permanent residency with your marriage certificate and all that because you are married to a Brazilian citizen. So according to the immigration law, one article, you have access. I think I've made a video on the migration law. You have access. It is your right. You get. So you qualify to apply for a permanent residency. So when you can apply for a permanent residency when you marry a Brazilian citizen or a Brazilian. A Brazilian citizen, maybe Nigeria converted to a Brazilian citizen or a Brazilian. That's what I shall mean. So you marry the person, you qualify for permanent residency. So after 1 year too of the permanent residency, you can apply for passport. So within that 1 year, you have 90 days to go and chill if you want to chill out, and you can try to stay 1 year, you can apply. So the time for the application of the Brazilian citizenship, the passport, to the approval, I don't know. It might take months for them to approve you. So it doesn't mean if you apply today, you get it today. So you can take months, you can now start submitting your documents, which I don't really know about that part yet. So you also qualify if you marry a Brazilian citizen. So let's say you now date, who also qualifies for a Brazilian passport after 1 year foreign residency is if you date a Brazilian citizen, a Brazilian officially, it means your dating has to be registered. It's called stable union. You get, your dating is official. It means you're dating to marry. It's like you are doing a proper introduction. It means you're doing a proper introduction. So you're you are dating to marry, no fugazi. So you date, you process necessary thing, they give you a certificate, you register your dating in the Catorial, just like how you register your marriage. You get the certificate of your dating, you must be living together and all those stuff. You can apply for permanent residency, then you also qualify after 1 year for the Brazilian passport. So if you invest in Brazil, 100 and some about $100,000, maybe through real estate investment or donations or whatever, you get a permanent residency in Brazil. So I don't now know whether you can now apply for the Brazilian passport with that investment, with that permanent residency you go through investment, whether you can apply for the Brazilian passport. I don't know about that through investment. I don't know about that one. So that's it for that. Who else? I think those that seek asylum and their asylum has been approved, I think after a while they also qualify for a permanent residency with their asylum. Then from there they can now apply for Brazilian passport, but I don't know. But it's going to take a longer year through the asylum part for those, especially the Afghanistan people and all those people that are at war, that are fleeing to Brazil. Let me quickly try to share this link. Two people alive, but let me try to share this link. Coming. So that's it. That's how that's one of the ways of getting Brazilian passport. One of the ways of getting the Brazilian passport. So which other ways? Which other ways? For now, those are the ways I just know. Those are the ways I just know. I'm trying to share the link, guys. So maybe more people can join, and you can always find the video later. Hmm. You can always see the video. So I want to just try to be doing live once in a while if I have the energy. So, but I'm always afraid that I might just be too tired because I'm still recovering and there are a lot of things I need to still. I have to still go back to the hospital to do some tests and check some things. And maybe later, guys, I'll brief you guys for some of you that don't know me personally. I'll brief you guys as regards what has been going on. So that's just it. but I'm getting my energy gradually. So let's even compare. Let's go to Georgia. Let's go to Georgia. Let's see Georgia. So I think this kind of idea of getting a Brazilian passport, I think might also apply to Paraguay. Some are talking about getting residency through cash, investment now, or something like that, and it's quite easy. It's quite easy. So it might also apply. And even the Paraguayan passport can give access to many European countries. It, Africans want to go around Europe a lot of times. Africans love Europe, than South America and everything. So that's why I'm focusing on if these passports can get you to European countries a lot. And practically the Brazilian passport can get you to almost every European country except UK, because UK is not in Schengen. Schengen UK is not in the European Union again. I think it's not in Schengen stuff again. So you have to apply. It's ETA, United Kingdom. So let's see Georgia. Georgia also definitely Georgia is European, and you should be able to have access to every European country in Georgia. I think Georgia also have access to Brazil. They have access to Brazil. Yes, they have access to Brazil visa free 90 days. Bulgaria, they also have access. So yeah, they have access to China. 131 is not bad. So now the idea of all these getting second passports and dual citizenship is something that has been existing for a while now. So it's not only something rampant with African countries, or with the African people, because most of the African passport is weak. Most of the African passports are weak, and people want to get dual citizenship, and legitimately, not because of. And so some people fall in love, and some people go to give birth, and oftentimes some people just travel not for greener pastures, but to be able to live well and enjoy what their country cannot give them. So some of us is not majorly for greener pastures. Greener pastures is like something on the internet. It means if I'm in Turkey, I can still get greener pastures because I'm doing something digitally. If I'm in Bali, if I'm in Russia, if I'm in Nigeria, I'll still be able to earn. But my greener pastures is, let's say our greener pastures is on the internet. You feel me? But why most of us go to these countries? The idea is just to go to countries that have access to easy access to getting their citizenship. Like if the citizenship makes sense. Like if the to get citizenship of that country is easier. So just tap into it and work your way through it legally, studying migration law and all those things like that. You know, guys, I have a lot of gist to give you guys. I have a lot of stories to tell you guys about documentation and some things like that. But for now, one way you guys have to just chill. I'll still come and give you gist and give you many gist as regards many things, and for you guys to also learn. And these gist are legit gist, and these are legal gist that you guys can implement. You know. So as I was saying, dual citizenship has been existing. Some people have triple citizenship. It's the strategy. For my last video, you can be African, you marry maybe a Brazilian for love, oh, not for documentation. So for love, you marry a Brazilian, and after you marry a Brazilian, you give birth to your Brazilian child maybe in Argentina or one European country, let's say in Portugal. Now your child is Portuguese by default, because he was born in Portugal. Your child is Brazilian because the mother is Brazilian, and probably the father is also Brazilian because the father married the Brazilian wife, and the Brazilian. So the parents are Brazilian, and the child is also Nigerian because the father is Nigerian. So that's triple citizenship. Citizenship. You feel me? That's it. That's it. How can the child qualify for four passports? Yes, let's say the child can qualify for four passports. Maybe the father is Nigerian, is German Nigerian, the mother is Brazilian and give birth to the child in Portugal. So the child is a Portuguese citizen, is a Brazilian citizen, also a Brazilian citizen through the mother, and is a Nigerian and which country did I say? And it is a Nigerian and German citizen through the father. That's four passport for the child. Four passport for the child over time. So that's how people build something for their children. So I think if see, we should I should not sugarcoat anything. If you are if they're born in Nigeria, it's like you are handicapped already. It's like the world is leading you two goes to zero. Two goes to zero. Or some African countries, like you are losing the battle already. So the idea of getting a second citizenship is not only for the person for the person, but also for the child, for the child. If you can give your child a good citizenship, give birth to your child in a country that offers that have, that have a strong passport, you are setting a child up for success by default in terms of mobility. Not only about money. Your child, you might be rich and your child is born in Nigeria and is Nigerian. And somebody is not that rich but is comfortable and they give birth to their child in maybe Brazil and is a Brazilian citizen and has the Brazilian passport, which is stronger than Nigerian passport. Of course, you are richer, but the child is a citizen. Is easier that way. You've made the life of the child easier that way. So I don't know if you guys understand me. So you are putting that child on a path of success. Even that one first coming down. Even if you're a broke person and you give birth to your child in Brazil or all these countries that have strong passports, you still be calm that at least you don't have money, but you are setting the part of the child like to success. The child is on a successful path already. Yeah, you can now also for money, but your child can move anywhere in the world, can go and study in Europe. When by that time you become rich, can go and study in Europe, can do many things. That's it. So sometimes it's majorly not for ourselves, but for our children, for our unborn children, for the born children, for the unborn children. Now, there's something I have to also include. Let's say you're a parent now, you have one child, you now give birth to your second child in Brazil. The first child in Brazil also qualifies to have a permanent residency in Brazil through the sibling. And I think if the child is still below 10 years old, the child also after 1 year of permanent residency, I think after 1 year of permanent residency or less than 1 year of permanent residency, the child also qualifies for a passport. I think for a passport, is it less than 1 year of permanent residency for that sibling, the first child, qualifies for a passport because they are below 10 years old. But the passport will still be, I think, the citizenship will still be, what do they call this thing? It will still be temporary, like a temporary citizenship until maybe they reach 18 before they can now apply for something like official citizenship. I don't know. I read it somewhere. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know. I don't know if some of you guys know. I think you you know what I'm talking about. There are a lot of informations are not on Google. Guys, let me just tell you the fact. Before I came to Brazil that time, people will be asking you, just put on Google. I think till date, people still tell you, you still put on Google. Okay, when you travel to Brazil or when you travel to some countries, when you travel to some countries, you'll be like, let me increase my camera. When you travel to some countries, you'll be like, ask on Google, if I travel to a country with tourist visa, can I convert my tourist visa in that country to work residency? So when I talk about visa, it's different from residency. Take note of those words, all those keywords. So sorry. Then Google will tell you you can't convert, you have to go back to your country to apply for the work residency for that's it. But according to the article I shared, the migration law which is available in the Brazilian government database is not just too publicly out there, you know. You can apply, you can change your tourist visa to work residency or study residency in Brazil without leaving Brazil. Just make sure you get your necessary documents. And I always advise people, if you're going to be traveling to maybe Brazil or some countries, it's better you just get some of the documents ready if you know you're going to be converting. So, but at the immigration game when you're traveling in the airport, they will ask you, are you going to come back? It's tourist. You tell them. Most of you have to tell them that you are coming back to your country. You are coming back to your country, blah blah. But let's just say, okay, you've gotten here. The document you have to bring before you start running tasketa again when you travel to Brazil and start getting documents. You have to bring your birth certificates. I think you can transfer your birth certificate here is easier. You can you have to legalize your birth certificate in Nigeria. Legalize it, authenticate it at the Brazilian embassy in Nigeria or Ministry of Foreign Affairs, all those things, blah blah blah. Bring it to Nigeria. You can authenticate it at Brasilia, the Nigerian embassy in Brasilia. And okay, before we have to do police report and do all those fingerprints, then but now I think to do all those things now, police reports you can do it online in Brazil or on the post app website in online. Wherever you are, you can be in any country, you can just do diaspora, you do it. I think it's faster now. From live drama Instagram, I saw his stuff. He said within 2 hours he got his police report. So from there, the police report, you can now use that police report that he did. You can now go and authenticate it in Brasilia too, send to Brasilia. And we have to have a work contract now for those someone that's going to employ in Brazil. We have to have a work contract. And if the person is going to be employing in Brazil and you're a foreigner, make sure the employer that's employing in Brazil that wants to give you documents has to be employing more Brazilians, has to have more Brazilian employers than foreign employees in in his company, because that's what it is. That's what it is. Um, Brazilian citizen has to employ more Brazilians. I think two-thirds of Brazilians as employees than foreigners. So that's just the law. And for those that want to convert tourists to student residency, you can do it easily through language. I prefer you do it through language. You know, through language. You have money. If you have money, do it through language. At least it's expensive, but you have to now put your mind to the language for you to be able to know the language, to study language, to be able to communicate with language. Because this certificate, you also use it. You need the Brazilian language certificate, proficiency, Portuguese proficiency certificate when you're applying for your Brazilian passport. So learn the language. So you have to learn the language. That's just it. It is what it is. What else? So that's student residency, and you can also convert. Maybe you get I don't know. Maybe you can do you can also qualify for student residency when you do a vocational course. Let's say you come here, you do a vocational course, but the vocational course is going to be taught in Portuguese. So now maybe you've learned Portuguese from Nigeria or from the country you are coming from. So when you now go and apply for the vocational course, it's like standard vocational course of 1 year or 2 years. And the vocational course, the workload per week has to be like 20 hours or 21 hours. I think 20 hours per week. It's Portuguese, it's Portuguese. And they have to give you a letter that you have been admitted. Vocational course, you can see it in Senac or Senai or those skinny. You pay maybe monthly of 200 AIs for like you pay it in installments for the duration of your classes. It can be 1 year, can be 2 years. Then from there, they give you a letter of admission. You can now use that letter of admission for your residency. You can use it for your residency. You can use that letter of admission for your residency. Then, what else for the conversion of tourist visa to student residency? Ah, yeah, it has to workload. It has to be Monday to Friday. It has to be physical classes. It must not be online classes. It has to be physical classes. It's not hybrid. It's not online. It has to be presence. It has to be presential. So that's it. Is this stuff charging? So that's the presidential. What else? That's to converting tourist visa to um student residency in Brazil. So let me do a recap. It can be a vocational course, it can be a standard course, it can be a Portuguese course. Let's say it's a vocational course or it's a Portuguese course, whatever course. It has to be the workload has or weekly workload has to be 20 hours. It has to be present. A course I go that is not online, it's presential. And you have to understand Portuguese because they'll be teaching you Portuguese. And why am I forgetting something so easily? And it's Monday to Friday, and they'll give you admission letter and all those things. What else? What am I forgetting? Then you now need to get your necessary documentations, police report, and all these things before you can now use it to apply for a student residency in Brazil. That's how you convert to. I'm not going into details. So you also pay. It will be monthlies. If it's free, you're lucky. If it's not free, it can be free. It can be paid. So you have to look for. That's how I convert tourist visa or whatever residence or whatever visa to student residency. Digital nomad residency can never qualify for permanent residency. Digital nomad residency, and now as I'm telling you, tourist visa to work residency, tourist visa to student residency, tourist visa to digital nomad residency is just you converting your tourist visa to temporary residency. They are not permanent residency. They are not permanent residency. I think when you get a student residency, maybe through university or those things, you can after 2 years maybe you can apply for permanent residency through that part. I think so. Digital nomad residency can never qualify for permanent residency, no matter what. So digital nomad residency is one is per year. I think the tax you have to pay like 25% or 20%. I don't know the tax rate. And the residency can be renewable every year. You cannot qualify for permanent residency through the digital nomad residency. You can never. You have to continue renewing it, and you have to have like it means you have to be earning like $1,500. You have to prove that you're earning like $1,500 per month for the 12 months. Is it $1,500? Or you have to have like a minimum of $18,000. I've forgotten. I'm coming. Let me do calculation. 1,500 times 12. Okay, you have to have you have to have proof of funds of $18,000 in your bank account. It means $1,500 monthly, and you have to show proof of employment from the company that's hiring you. That's an international company, not a Brazilian company that's hiring you, but an international company that's hiring you. You get. They have to do a police report and all those stuffs like that. That is it. That is it for residency. Tourist visa to digital normal residency, but you can never qualify for permanent residency in the digital normal residency. Now you just have to renew. So some people don't want the permanent residency; they just want to renew, keep on renewing, and they'll pay tax on the money too. So now getting the Brazilian passport, you need a Brazilian proficiency certificate. So you have to learn your Portuguese. No matter what, you have to learn Portuguese. And from what it is, you have to learn Portuguese. Even if you end up going to a class and you get the certificate, you have to know at least you have to be able to know how to communicate. Communicate because you might not be interviewed directly when you are doing the passport registration process and all those things. You might not be interviewed directly like what is your name, say the Portuguese, no. To test your Portuguese, no. It is just the conversation. When the police is trying to converse with you normal basic conversation, it's not like that. By default, if you cannot respond, it means I want to become a citizen. It means you just have certificates but you can't speak. So it's from those basic things. So you have to learn to the bend. So and I also get the fact that most Nigerians or some Africans, let me just use I'm always using Nigerian as a case reference because I'm Nigerian and that's the part I can always speak from. So the why I said they majorly Canada, go to Canada, go to UK, go to United States of America is because they're English speaking countries. It's not easy to for people to go to countries that are non English speaking countries if your official language is English. So it will be hard for them to transition, you know, language barrier. So that's one of the causes. So I can actually understand some people's point of view. But that also makes sense if most of them are not trying to come to Brazil because of language. We that love language and we that can persevere can just we are limited, limited chasing vast. We are limited people and we are chasing opportunities that are vast. So it means there's less competition. There's less competition, there's less there's something like the competition is less and policies cannot really change faster like as change in other countries. So it means you guys are making it easier for us because we that can persevere and try to learn language and we that love learning new languages can quickly tap into these opportunities while you are still chasing the English speaking countries. But it's always I just feel like even though it's hard, even the language is hard and trying to learn the language. And for those that are here that are struggling with language, what I'll just tell you is picture yourself speaking the language. Picture how fun it would be when you look at yourself and you're speaking your dialect, the Nigerian dialect, English, and you're also speaking Portuguese. It's like a plus to you. It's like a plus to your CV when you're multilingual. You can speak Portuguese and one way or the other. It's not about being fluent. Language learning is like for life. There are new words. There are words that I don't know. There are words I'm still knowing. There are some words I'm forgetting. And I'm mixing my English with Portuguese now. Everything is getting that, but I'm still communicating. It's about communication. And the second person, the person you're trying to speak to, can understand you. It's good. So picture yourself speaking that language and you're doing well. Then from there, it gives you that enthusiasm. And you have to love something before you can learn that thing. Try to build that love. If you don't love something, you always want to struggle to learn that stuff. And there's this thing that is rampant among people is like I don't know how they can be stubborn and they are very myopic. They are shallow minded. So they don't believe in themselves and they always want to talk down on something because they can't achieve that thing or they can't learn that thing. They talk down on it. Change that mentality. Try one way or the other. People will laugh at you. Some people laugh at you. But try, Roju, Yakubu, manage. That's how you learn the language. That's how you learn the language. You just keep on going like that. And from there. Let me read the okay, let's compare Mexico. Let me check Vanuatu. Vanuatu that people are using money to go and buy is even 94. Okay, let's go to Mexico. Someone said I should compare Mexico. I think Mexico has a mobility of 150. Let me change. Okay. Yeah, Mexico is 150, yes. So now let's compare. Let me bring Mexico down to this place. Compare it next to Brazil. I think Nigerians are going to Mexico too. I see. I really like the people, the Nigerians that go to countries that are not really heard of. People are going to Kazakhstan, whatever. Not for greener pastures. Some are going for the passport. Not for greener pastures, but for the passport. It's PP for another P. So they are going there, and you don't know their mission. You are talking down on them that what are they going to go and do? Is their job in this? If they have their money to sustain them for that time that they will get the passport and do one or two things and maybe they are digital nomads, boom, they get what they want to get, they can leave and go and search for greener pastures anywhere. So you don't know their plans. You people are just talking. Is their job in Kini? If you go to TikTok now, you just start seeing comments of people of is there job in Brazil, is there job in Kini? Even though it's right in Brazil for Brazilians, and maybe there might not be jobs, but you don't know people's plan. Some people just challenge minded. Let me read the comments and I'll compare this Mexico soon. Brazilian passport is strong and I encourage Nigerians that can't get the usual suspect, the UK, US, Canada, or any European country to go for Brazilian passport. Yeah, that's it. I have a Canadian passport, by the way. That's good. Congratulations, you have a Canadian passport. And you can try to add more stuff to your rank, more passports, so far it's easy to get. So that's it. See, guys, it's strategy. So now let's compare Mexico. Let's compare Mexico head to head. There's nothing I'm going to go and do in Afghanistan. So Albania, Mexico, yes. Mexico has 95 countries that they can go to. The Mexican passport can give access to 95 countries visa free, 46 countries on ETA, or no, 46 countries on, yeah, on e-visas, 9 countries on ETA, and 48 countries you need visa required. Visa required. So let's go to Albania. Albania, yes. The Brazilian passport is stronger than the Mexican passport, but the Mexican passport is also better, it's also good. So now it's not really about the mobility score, it's also about, is it easy to get this Mexican passport. The Mexican passport might be harder, might be tougher. I don't know, I'm just saying. Some countries have like lesser mobility score than the other, but their passport is tougher to get than the ones that have the mobility score I have. The Georgian passport might be is 131 mobility score, and it might be tougher getting the Georgian passport compared to getting the Brazilian passport. So sometimes the mobility score does not affect how easy it is to get a one passport or the other. So Andorra to Andorra, yes. I don't have any business with African countries. Argentina, okay, now not bad. Now the Mexican passport can't give you access to Armenia. It gives you access to Armenia visa on arrival or visa, but it's visa free 180 days with Brazilian passport. Austria. Um, Australia is e-visa for Brazilians, and Brazilians like to travel to United States of America. Brazilians like to travel to Australia, but I don't know whether Brazilians like to travel to UK. No, a lot of Brazilians struggle with the UK English accent, so they prefer the American accent. So yeah, they struggle with the UK accent. So Austria, 90 days, 90 days. Azerbaijan, e-visa. Bahamas, that's Caribbean, visa free 90 days. Bahrain, e-visa. We don't have any business with Bangladesh. I'm sorry to the Bangladesh people. Barbados. Okay, I'm comparing the Mexican passport to Brazilian passport. Belarus, Belgium. Okay, they can both go visa free. Then Belize, the Brazilian passport gives you access to Belize visa free 90 days, but with the Mexican passport, visa free 30 days. So Belarus, Brazilian passport 90 days visa free, 30 days with the Mexican passport. 180 days visa free to Barbados with the Brazilian passport, but 28 days visa free with the Mexican passport. So even with the visa free, there's still even limitation because of the duration of the visa free stuff. So let's see. I'm still comparing. So this is just it. This is just it, guys. And Bolivia, Bosnia. We have a business with Botswana. Brunei is a visa card. Let's see if the Mexican passport can go to Thailand. I'm in love with the Southeast Asia, and that's the trend now. People are just traveling to Southeast Asia, Bali, Indonesia, you know, travel to Thailand, travel to Vietnam. Vietnam is actually more affordable, cheaper than Thailand. Guys, I have plans of traveling to Vietnam, traveling to Thailand though. I just want to go and chill, spend a few time there. Vietnam is the visa for Brazilian. I don't have a Brazilian passport yet though. I'm not Brazilian yet. But inshallah, soon. By special grace of God. Okay, visa to Vietnam, visa to Vietnam with Mexican passport and Brazilian passport. Thailand. Brazilians can travel to Thailand visa free, I know. A visa free 90 days, 60 days for the Mexican passport. That's fine. Turkey, 60 days. Georgia passport, 60 days. You guys can't see. Let me use it. Let me use my camera so you guys can see. Tonga is all this Tonga is all this, what do they call these people? Is wow, all those people like those are wine people, kind of like wine people. What do you call these people? Tonga is a very small island. It's a small island in the Micronesia or this Oceania. Let me even check their passports. Tonga. They should not be up to one. They should not be up to 1 million in that country. I think they're up to 1 million. 126, not bad. Their passport is not bad. Let me check Tonga. Is Oceania. It's Oceania. I know it's Oceania. Tonga, Fiji, all those ones. Okay, Samoa people. I shall know it's Polynesia, all those Samoa. It can be Samoan people. Samoa. If I start saying something I don't know. Tongan. Tongan. Nkulafo. Nuku. Nukualofa. I don't know why it's so Nkulafo. Polynesian language. Polynesian. Polynesia. Yes. Yes. You see? Polynesian countries. Samoa. You see? You see Samoa? See all these people. Tuvalu. Hawaii. All those they have those tattoo, those pattern tattoo. So that's Tonga. Tonga has 126 ability score. It's not bad, not bad. It means just see where I can enter some European countries. I can enter Sweden. Guys, not having that Brazilian passport is a flex. We just be entering Schengen. Travel to Paris, use train, just be going to different European countries, just chilling. Chilling like no tomorrow. Chilling like no tomorrow. How long have I been on this life now? If I start having headache. Guys, I'm live now. Oh. Guys, I am live now. See, so you guys, you better join because I'm comparing passport now. Even banks message me, say I've given the links. I don't know whether you guys know banks. Banks, one of the biggest punters in Nigeria. My guy, my friend. Give me link. Let me share. Says it's gonna bank on X. So hopefully he shares on his account on X and does it make sense? So let me even share it on X. Let me share on X. Let me share this link on X. I still have energy to keep on and take some things, so I'm not weak today. Gracias a Deus. So okay, I've posted it. But I'll give banks the links, the link to the. Okay, you said I should post a snippet of a video. Okay, there's something I will do since I have a video. I'll just post the video that I've done before and put this link there.
policies and immigration policies changing in the UK is alarming. Even the United States now, I think when you give birth in the United States,
I have a video that I did.
just like how a lot of people are not focusing on president.
Okay. There's a video.
Just like how a lot of people are not focusing.
Okay, where's the link? I see there's this neighbor that I have up here. Up here. There's every time he does a reconstruction in his apartment every time. What will pay me is if his apartment is not his own, that he bought the apartment and it's just rented and he's just doing a lot of modification. I don't know. Every time drilling. And this wall is not block, it's concrete. Sometimes it wakes me up. I don't know what is always eating. So I put it on X. So guys, I still have energy. Where's this? There's this egg down to it. Guys, if you guys remember, there's this UK guy that I posted that is showing off his PR, his Chinese PR. It's not easy to get the Chinese PR, guys. It's not easy. It's not easy to get the Chinese PR. It's UK. He's English. He's an English guy, and he got the permanent residency. The Chinese permanent residency after living 14 years in Brazil, because he married a Chinese citizen, and it takes time. You have to be married to get permanent residency in China. You have to be married at least 5 years to the China citizen. Your marriage has to be like 5 years, at least 5 years. There are a lot of things to prove, and the Chinese passport is just 92. But we're not. But I told you guys, it's not about the Chinese passport. For China, it's not about mobility score. It's not about mobility score. It's like Chinese is another word entirely themselves. They are another ecosystem. So the guys kept on flaunting his Chinese passport. Let me look for the guy. YouTube.com. Jason living in China. Yeah, and he talks about China, compare China to, just like how I'm always comparing Brazil to Nigeria. I'm comparing, the guy compares China to England, to UK. Jason living in China. He has lived 40 years in China, went back to UK. So guys, you can see he's comparing the luxurious train, the amount. I've watched most of his video, and the guy speaks Chinese, for long now. Guys, I don't think I can learn Chinese though. I got the most difficult green card in the world, and that's the Chinese PR. And the guy flaunted it.
Burgers all day. China didn't just let me stay. Welcomed me. And after 14 years
living in China,
it's more than I can put into words.
he shows his off. An English guy. So when some people try to criticize Africans or Nigerians when they get a new passport, and they are happy about it, and they're always shouting, showing it off, or the PR or traveling to another country, that this and that, they say it's crazy. Why I pay something? Who is this guy now? What is he knocking? So they say it's crazy, it's everything. But now see these English guys, he just got Brazilian passport. Sorry. He got the Chinese permanent residency, Chinese green card, and he's always flaunting and is happy. An English guy. That's a good passport.
Permanent resident ID. ID card. A lot of people call it the Chinese green card. Also, hold on just a second. You may be wondering, what is this behind me? Well, this is a metro station. This is what metro station.
For some of people that might be joining this live, I've talked about a lot of things. A lot of things and how to get the Brazilian passports. I've shared information about it and getting the residency, Brazilian residency.
Renew it. And no, this is not citizenship.
It's not citizenship.
It's pretty damn close. The closest you can get to citizenship.
I don't think it's easier to get the Chinese citizenship. I think citizenship that are hard to difficult to get or they might not get are those citizenship of those ones that hold their culture and heritage dearly. Let's try to check it. Let me try to check Gemini. Let me try to check Gemini. New charts. You see. Countries that do not offer. You see, guys, can you listen to the background noise? What's wrong with this neighbor? That do not offer citizenship. Let's see. See the things I've been talking. See my Gemini say vocational schools and Brazil residency, many things. I'm even looking for laptops for streaming. Strong ones. I don't want to buy a gaming laptop. It will be too heavy. I don't want to buy a desktop yet. Vatican City is hard to give citizenship. You see, citizenship is temporary. See these countries. Qatar, 25 consecutive years to live in Qatar. So these countries they hardly give. They are countries that they are like more traditional. You can marry them, but they don't want this. This citizenship is more of like a birthright, like a deeper than like Kuwait, Bhutan. So they would rather give you golden visa than give you citizenship. 10 years. I'm not talking about those ones that I think Europeans will still give you citizenship. The ones that don't give citizenship, China will be part of them. I'm sure China will be part of them. So we have compared Mexico to Brazil. China, I don't need to compare China to Brazil. It's far. Brazilian passport is stronger than Chinese passport. Far. Let's put the US. Let me just put Canada. Canada is 169, we know. So China is another word itself. Even the Taiwanese passport is stronger than the Chinese passport. So that one there is another word its own self. Let me reduce my. So China is another. How long have I been in this life? I don't even know. Because I'll soon leave. I have to leave. I'll soon leave this life, but not yet. Because I have to leave this place. I have an appointment. Not like an appointment, but I have to leave. I'm already getting thirsty. Where is. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to read a message. Mm, 50 minutes. I'm talking to Raquel, guys, because I'm going to police federal this afternoon to go and check, to go and collect my residency card. My residency card. So I'm trying to see whether I can meet Raquel on the road. This is what police federal can. So guys, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Passport. What's your own reason of getting passport? Why? Why? I want to ask some of you guys personally. What's your reason of getting the permanent? What's your reason of trying to get a dual citizenship? I want to know. I want to know. I think we all share the same reason. God. See this noise. Who is this guy? As I said, I'm tired of this my neighbor. Always doing a reconstruction is in the apartment. I don't know whether he's the owner of the apartment, and it will pay me if he's not the owner of the apartment and he's always doing modifications. And it doesn't make sense. Do modification in an apartment you don't own. If you are the owner now, I can hear. But every time, even if you are the owner, you can't do modifications every time. Eh? Do modification every time. Making noise. See me too. Calm down. Everybody's busy. Guys, you can drop your questions in the comment section, or then I'll reply them. I've talked about a lot of things about passports, about comparing passport reasons and learning Brazilian language. And as you know, some people are going to which country? Paraguay to get the citizenship there too. Why? As Brazil is looking tougher now. Before to come to Brazil, guys, I came here to Brazil with a tourist visa. I never did interview. Some people always come to my DM and ask me about how to get the visa. I said I don't know. Guys, my visa was just applied for. I just submitted the document. I didn't even know the document I submitted because I applied for Brazilian visa about 3 or 4 times before I got the 4th time. So the one that some of you guys are getting easily. So, and Brazil is the only country I applied to. I did not apply to any other country. I've always said it. So it's not like Brazil was like last form for me to now say, let me now try Brazil. Like I've tried to US, let me now pick Brazil because lesser is faster. No, Brazil was the only country I've applied to. It's the only country I applied to, and it took me 4 times or 3 times to get the visa. I've been applying since 2018. Before I got it in 2022 December. Before I traveled, I got it in November 2022. Before I traveled in, I got to Brazil on the 18th of December 2022 on the final Argentina France, and Argentina won, and I got to Brazil and I was happy too. I got to Brazil when they started the match, and it was very wonderful. So it was tough. So I got to Brazil as a tourist. From tourist visa, I converted my tourist visa to work residency. And from there, blah 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 blah. Transition. So that's it. So as you can see, we're in Brazil. I've been in Brazil for 3+ years now. Am I speaking Portuguese fluently? No, not yet. Did I go to Portuguese class? Yes, at some point, but I studied indoor for long before I now went to Portuguese class. So I studied Portuguese personally by myself. Like I'm like a kind of guy that I like to do self-tutoring. So I studied autodidactically, So from there, everything was compounding. Then I was talking to, one of the fastest way to learn Portuguese. If you're a single guy, have a Brazilian chick, then from there converse, do video calls, converse. I always have a headache. It was not easy. It would be as if you're talking like a deaf and dumb, just joining Portuguese words. Then from there, I went to Portuguese class. There was a free Portuguese class that I went to. Then from there, and I started knowing the principles of, this was the reason I learned this thing. Then gradually, I stopped the Portuguese class because they're not giving the bus card, and they started doing online class, and I wanted physical class. So I stopped, but I was still studying. Let me show you the book that I used. And I have the PDF. Guys, I have the PDF of this book that I used. If you guys want, I have the PDF. This is the book I used to study Portuguese. Fala, lê, escreve português. Curso para estrangeiros. It means speak, read, write Portuguese. A course for foreigners. This is it. This is the Portuguese book I use. So this is the book that I used to study Portuguese. And it's only Portuguese. There's no English there. There's no English in this book. Everything is Portuguese. So if you are studying, you're going to be using your translator and using it directly. Let me increase my camera section. So it means if you are studying, you are using it's Portuguese, everything is Portuguese. There's no English there. So you study hard. So it's not like you are studying from Portuguese to English to Portuguese. No, translation. Everything is Portuguese. And I did everything I studied, not every day. I studied alone. Then part of the papers that we used to teach that when I started going to the Portuguese class, this is the paper. This is it. And always, this is Festus handwriting. So this part of the paper. This part of the paper. This is not my own paper, sha. This Festus Manuel's paper because sometimes it borrows this. But this book is not for me, sha. It belongs to Manuel's family. And I studied it. I not finished the book before I started using it. I think I stopped at 120 something pages. While the book has like 200 and something pages, almost 300 pages. I started asking, then I started speaking because I was always reading. So when you read, you have to practice Portuguese. It's not only about reading. It's not a theory. You have to speak. And luckily for me, I'm a single guy. So as I met more Brazilian girls, I conversed with Brazilian ladies and we talk. And from there, I started speaking. And there's some Brazilian ladies I met that discouraged me because she wanted to learn English and I wanted to learn Portuguese. And my Portuguese that is bad is better than our English by far. So instead of her for us to combine and keep on talking, she was like blah 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 blah. And I'm like, it's me that will even help you more. My Portuguese is better than your English. You need to attach more and learn your English. And there's something I tell Brazilians to learn English because the countries that speak Portuguese outside of Brazil are Portugal and some African countries, and English is more universal than the Portuguese. I tell Brazilians that me learning Portuguese in Brazil, I can do without Portuguese even while I'm in Brazil because I might not stay in Brazil for so long. I can always go out, and the English that I learn is better because you go anywhere, you speak English. You go to any country, even their official language is not English, they'll still put translation of English. They'll never put translation of Chinese and Portuguese in the train or all these placards. They'll put Chinese, English, maybe and French and all these things. So I tell them, Brazilians, learn Portuguese, learn English. Learn English. You have more opportunities out there. I can do without it when I'm out of this place. You cannot do without. So why they have limited options as Brazilians? Brazilians travel to Portugal. They might travel to some other African countries, but they don't want to travel to African countries. So why? Except they meet some of their people that speak some of this Portuguese in maybe Germany and some other places, maybe those ones that are migrants too. So that is learn English. English is more universal. It's more universal. And they can be able to tap into the foreign market when they learn English. Brazilians need to learn English. They need to learn English. So guys, Brazil gives more, and there's some things that Brazil gives. We've talked about the benefits that Brazil gives. Guys, I've been sick and I've tapped into the Brazilian health system. I've benefited from Brazilian free health system, the SUS health system, the Saudi Unico system or whatever system. It's free, even though a lot of people are using that system and you can be on the queue for long, it takes time. But I've benefited from the Brazilian health system. I've benefited from a lot of things in the Brazilian system. The health system I benefited from it. I'm still benefiting from it. Even though it can be delaying. But that's just it. So we've been comparing I think I've been doing this live for more than 1 hour now. Let me see. I don't know where I can see how long I've done this live. As this neighbor is beating this thing, it's disturbing my brain. It's not making me concentrate. God, I'm angry. This back. I am angry. Guys, we are comparing passports. Oh, come and compare your passport. Let's compare passports together. Let me get water. I can't carry my camera. God. I have some excess fluid. Guys, can you hear? I'm out with my mic. Can you listen? Can you listen to the background noise? Even though my window is shut and everything. Now, I need to drink water. I need to eat this egg. Cracking egg with my egg. Let's compare. Let me try to think of countries that people. I think I'm just majorly focused on where Nigerians love to go to US, Canada, and comparing to Brazil. And Nigerians are looking into. Let's pick Argentine passport. 161. Guys, that's just it. I think I'm going to be doing another live. It's going to be another topic, it's going to be other things. Maybe it might be around this residency stuff. My neighbor is disturbing me a lot. It's messing with my mind. It's disturbing me a lot. Except you guys have questions. Maybe I'll just still be on this live. Let's see whether some of you guys will have questions. Maybe those that later join the live, if they have questions, then I'll answer their questions and maybe we'll compare. And if you want to compare personally by yourself, you can always check passportindex.org to compare these passports. My face blocking the whole screen. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's because I was talking without comparing. The passports. I was not comparing before. I was talking something that requires my face to be all over the screen. So that's why. That's the reason. Let's even check how to get some of these visas. Passport I don't know whether the information on this e-visa stuff is updated. Let's see if you have the Brazilian passport and you want to get the UK visa. No, let's check. You want to get the Australian visa. Australian e-visa with the e-passport. Let's see. Apply now. Let's see how the information is going to be. I'm only eating egg white. I don't know whether this information is up to date. Guys, I probably don't want to talk about. I'm not a visa agent though, and I probably don't want to talk about visas. I don't know much about visas. No, I don't talk about visas. I don't like talking about residency too much on my YouTube channel, and I want to transition from talking about more about Brazil and talking about other things. I haven't changed my bow to me, Brazil, and the world. So I don't want to talk too much about residency. I'm not a travel agent, and I've done a lot of travel consultation or consultation to people for free. I don't charge. If I'm in the mood, I answer questions. If I'm online, I answer questions. For people that have questions about Brazil, residency, and some other things like that, and I share my information, what I know. If I don't know anything about it, I don't say anything about it. So that's just me. I'm not a travel agent. So for people that always come to my DM asking me whether I'm a travel agent, I'm not a travel agent. Though. Asking me for how they can get to Brazil, how they can travel to Brazil. Me, okay, a travel agent. Though. I don't know anything. So if you want to travel to Brazil, I want to do visas, you can always go to Manuel. Let's go to IG. Let's go and check Manuel. Manuel's page. Manuel do Brazil. Manuel import. Manuel do Brazil. So it will answer your questions. It will answer your questions. I'm not looking. Oh, let's leave Instagram. So that's for your visas and everything like that. Bada HQ is not a travel agent. I just answered questions. So a lot of people, I give them a lot of answers, and I've answered a lot of questions for people that want to rent apartment in Brazil. There are a lot of videos I've made. So some people, you keep on asking me the same questions, which it stresses me out. So I share my information if I'm online, if I'm in the mood. And some people ask stupid questions, which sometimes I have to just chill. I'll not answer first, then later I'll go and answer. So I'm not gonna speak anyhow to anybody. So yeah, I'll answer them when I'm in the mood. So I don't do visas. Guys, drop your questions if you have questions for me. If you don't have questions, you can get that info from here. What info? Is it from passportindex.org? So if you guys have questions, drop your questions, then I'll answer them as I am still available right now before I leave. Because I'll soon leave. I have some things I need to go and get. But guys, I want to travel to China. If I'm traveling to China, I must make sure I meet Jerry in China. I like that guy. Jerry in China. He's a Nigerian guy. I'll try to meet this guy too. Jerry in China. He's a Nigerian guy that's been living in China for almost 11 years. I like the guy. There are some of his content that I'll be copying as time goes on in Brazil. I'll be doing similar content he does in China. I'll be doing in Brazil here. I want to travel to northern part of Brazil, and I want to travel to like 5 states at once. So I want to do a lot of challenges in the northern part of Brazil, and I'm going to spend a lot of time in northern part of Brazil. So I might be streaming live in northern part of Brazil, and I'll also be vlogging in northern part of Brazil, and I'll be speaking Portuguese. They hardly speak English there, so guys, and sometimes I'll speak Portuguese. I speak Portuguese on this live for a few sessions, for a few minutes for some of my Brazilian subscribers. So if I go to China, I'm going to be meeting Jerry in China. I like this guy. I like him a lot. I want to eat his food too. Guys, what country do you want me to compare? Argentina is similar, almost similar to Brazilian passports. And people talk about Argentina. Somebody asked me whether Argentina has racism in, like racism whether it can influence your passport. I said I don't know, but there's racism in Brazil too, there's racism in Argentina. It can be so glaring, it might be so glaring in Argentina than it's glaring in Brazil, but there's racism in Brazilian system, which I don't know yet, but I've never faced any racism. Someone might be looking at me on train with a racist eye. And me, I always forget that I'm black in Brazil. Like if you look at me tomorrow, I'll be like, baby, you are looking at a fine boy. You know, if you do anything, it doesn't fuck with me because I not grow up in a racist system. So I don't know. But maybe if I was working in Brazilian system, I was working doing a Brazilian job or doing whatever, maybe I would have faced racism because I'm black. Like how some people are facing it. So and I don't know whether at some point racism has affected my residency application before or anything like that. Whoever is applying, whoever is attending to my application, I don't know about that. But I've not faced racism personally. But there's racism, and racism is a criminal offense in Brazil, which you can go to jail for it. So I don't know whether people are actually going to jail. And maybe maybe the racists that are going to jail are the ones that don't have money. I don't know. But there's racism in Brazil. Some people said they faced it. So there's racism in Brazil, there's racism in Argentina. It might be clearing in Argentina than clearing in Brazil. But so far so good. Brazil is a country you can blend in. Like you can blend in Brazil. There are black Brazilians. You know, Brazil has more African descent, more black people aside African. So it's a country that you find more black people outside of Africa. You know, Brazil has more Japanese people. It's a country that you find more Japanese people or Japanese descent outside of Japan too. Brazil houses more and more Europeans too in the southern part of Brazil. The southern part of Brazil is more racist from based on what I've had. I know Santa Catarina, those places because they house more Europeans. There are more European Brazilians there. So in Brazil, you can blend in. We have European Brazilian, we have Japanese Brazilians, you have African Brazilians. You know, Brazil is a place you can blend in. So if you carry Brazilian passports, as if you're a Brazilian and you carry Brazilian passport and you're black, you get there, you still be like you can identify. If you are Japanese and you carry the Brazilian passport, they'll still identify you, whatever. So Brazil is a country you blend in. You blend in. The info about all countries, and the programs they offer. Okay. 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 So every info is on this passportindex.org. Yes. If you want to apply for passports, if you want to apply for e-visa, you want to apply for whatever on this passport index, if you click on the e-visa, you check every info you need. It takes you there and everything you'll be needing. So let's say if you're a Brazilian and you want to apply for Vietnam passport. Actually you want to apply for Vietnamese e-visa 90 days. Just click on it, apply now, then it takes you there, you see the necessary things you need, and maybe it takes you to the official site. And there's something I want to say too about the Brazilians. I feel the Brazilians don't know the value of their passport because can I say that most Brazilians don't have their passport ready? Like don't have their passport, just like how we Nigerians, we have almost everybody has an international passport because we're using this passport to do ID verifications, not even for travels. ID verifications before we start using it for visa applications and everything like that. So we're using it for ID verification. So maybe to do anything before so Brazilians, they hardly apply for passports. They hardly travel with their Brazilian passport. And some of them don't even know the mobility they have with their Brazilian passport, the countries they can go to e-visa. Though it's not only about this passport. Do you have the money to travel? So I can understand them. You might have the passport, but you don't have the money to travel. But we now, even if I'm broke now, right now, and I don't have the Brazilian passport, once I get the Brazilian passport, even if I'm still broke, I'll just be looking at my Brazilian passport like this. It will be motivating me to earn more for me to be able to travel to these visa-free countries. So I think Brazilians should try to travel to they should try to research more about their passports and enjoy the benefit of their passport. So I was telling Raquel, I was always discussing Raquel, do you know the value of your passports? Do you know the value of your passport? You can go to Vietnam and go to Thailand. So I was talking about it to her, but she was not paying attention. I think until she saw a Brazilian that traveled, one of the Brazilians is following, traveled to Thailand, and she showed many things. I was like, oh, Thailand is not bad, it's cool. Then we were just talking. I was like, yes, now. See, I've been telling you all these things, but she was like, this passport, do your passport. Go and do your passport. That's it. You don't know the value of what you have. Raquel herself does not have a Brazilian passport. There's one information I want to confirm, guys. I don't know how true it is, but I don't know how one. I'm sorry for breaking. There's something I want to confirm. I don't know whether you can immigrants with permanent residency, Brazilian permanent residency, can travel to Mercosur countries with their Brazilian permanent residency card. Brazilians can travel to Mercosur countries. Mercosur countries are, let me quickly show you guys what Mercosur countries are. They are countries in South America, like Paraguay, all these things. So Brazilians can travel to these countries with their RG cards, with just their identity cards. I don't know how to multitask. Okay, Mercosur. So Brazilians can travel to Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, Bolivia, Venezuela with their ID card, their RG card, without passport, without identity. Just travel by road, by bus, by whatever. Travel with the ID card. So I want to know whether immigrants with the Brazilian permanent residency card can travel to these Mercosur countries with their permanent residency card, just like how people with Schengen visa, immigrants with Schengen visa or residency in any European country can travel to EU countries, Schengen areas, easy access with their card, whatever, with their visas too. So I want to know whether, I don't know whether immigrants with Brazilian residency card, Brazilians with permanent residency, immigrants with Brazilian permanent residency card can travel to these countries, Mercosur countries, with their card. I want to know. Maybe by road, I don't know. So it's not gonna start sending you back. So maybe I'll just travel to Paraguay. Go to Paraguay. Just go and chill. Go to Argentina and go and chill with my ID card. But I think I might need to apply for visa. Because if I'm going to travel to Paraguay by road with my Brazil permanent residency card, I might be given access. But if I'm going to travel with flight, I might need visa because I'm an immigrant. I'm not a Brazilian citizen yet. I said I travel by road. I don't know. So I don't want to have any issues with traveling and they not send me back. No. Okay, not only visitor visas, it's permanent residency. Just look at the site, you understand what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Let me check. So you can even know about getting a permanent residency. Where should I go to? So it means this passport index can give information on how to apply for permanent residency of these countries. That makes sense. I think I'll check it out later. But it really makes sense. But what I also say, guys, is about what I also say about all these things is that some information about applying for permanent residency that you see online, they are real information, but they are not. Some of them are not hitting the nails on the head. So that's why you need people to guide you through on how to get this permanent residency and all these things. In total, the document, some information you just see, Baba, submit this document, but you might not understand. So you need someone to guide you through, to give you information about these documentations. They'll give you the information, in total information about documentation stuff, which I've been able to give some people for free. Oh, like I be able to give them And I've met some of my subscribers. I've met some of my subscribers before, Americans in Brazil here. But I've not been going out for the past 4 months. So that's why I've been doing reaction videos. Once I'm back on my feet, I'll go out more and do more content for you guys. I've talked about a lot of things in this video. I've talked about residency, I've talked about Brazil residency, I've talked about many things. I've talked about the ideology of learning a new language. I've talked about requirements for this residency, for Brazil residency. I've talked about a lot of things, guys. So when is going to be the next live? What's going to be another thing about talking about the next live? I don't know. Next live might not be me on the system. I just be me being around. You know. I mean, we should go and do live in police station, in police federal. Police federal in Sao Paulo, yes, Lapa. Just go and do live. I should just carry this live and go there. Maybe come and do my life. Do my life there. But I can't film. I can't film in police federal. Before they go and they go and arrest me. So I'm gonna violate anything. And Brazilian police, those guys, if they slap you, I watch their movies, if they slap you, you forget your name. You forget your name. Oh. So Mercosur countries are Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay. So Brazilians have access to these countries. It's just like Schengen, just like the European Union. Then in South America, what that map says about is also world maps. God. World map. What says about world maps? I'm mad. I've always dreamed of traveling to different countries. How did I even fall in love with Brazil? Guys, how did I even choose Brazil? If you guys don't hear the story, let me tell you how I discovered Brazil. How I found Brazil. Me and Manuel imports, Manuel do Brazil. We went to the same university for now. I studied microbiology. He studied business administration. So he's my friend. We've been friends since like 2014. We've been friends for like 12 years now. So we finished school. So when we're doing our final exam, he just told me, oh, my dad lives in Brazil. Blah blah blah. And me, I was already preparing to like as a scholar now. I wanted to do my masters in Canada or apply for scholarships in Canada. So I was chatting about Canada. So he told me about Brazil. I was like, And at that time, I'm a fan of learning language. So I was learning Spanish, just for the fun of Spanish. Just for the fun of learning Spanish. I was learning Spanish. I was not learning Portuguese. So he just told me about Brazil. I was like, Brazil. And thank God I was not close-minded. I was like, Brazil? What's in Brazil? So I just started checking Brazil. And I like Latin American countries. I like all these countries, South American countries, all these countries. I've always known one to chase the crowd. Canada, me picking Canada was just me going for masters because of the education system back then in 2018. So I applied for Canadian scholarships, Saskatchewan, applied to, message professors. Some they don't have slot again for masters, some I could not get response, some they're not accepting, so I just left it. So to remember, I just when we were on holiday, when we were done, I started researching about Brazil more. So I started reading about Brazil. So I just switched from learning Spanish to Portuguese. And I started watching videos, looking at people, Brazilian people. I like No, I like Latin American countries now. So that was just it. Then from there, I started falling in love with Brazil, and that was just so we just applied back then. So we now wanted to apply for universities, Brazilian universities back then. That time was PEC, this PEC program, this PEC graduate program like that, scholarship Brazil. But we don't apply that time. We don't even have many information about it, and it was just done anyhow. We're even thinking of not going for NYSC. So that was it. We just decided to say, let's just me and Manu were just frustrated. Let's just apply for NYSC. Luckily, we applied for NYSC while we were waiting for the Brazilian stuff. There's a picture. I don't know whether Manu I don't know if I have the picture where we went to the Brazilian embassy with our NYSC stuff. We were so dark after camp. So we just thank God we served. Everything was now approved, so we were frustrated. Then later back in 2020, we were already frustrated. Manu was not even wanting to travel to Brazil again. And if Manu says he's not traveling to Brazil again, I said, let me say if I'm not traveling to Brazil again now because it was the ones that brought the information. And from there, 2020, we kind of the spirit of the vibe of traveling to Brazil again. Then Manuel came to my house during the pandemic time and gave me information. 2020, then we started trying to apply again. And Manuel got his application. Manuel got his visa approved in 2020. I was going to get my visa approved too in 2020, but that was when there was a second wave of COVID or third wave of COVID. Then from there, I could not apply. I was not I was not approved because of the COVID. I think my case was pending. The Manuel got his visa approved 2020 December. I can remember, I think December 17, 2020. Then he traveled in January 2021. I mean, I got stuck in Brazil. I got stuck in Nigeria, and I was frustrated. I was angry. It was painful because we both had this plan. But for me, when I'm angry like that, I channel all my energy into something productive. If you break my heart today, I'm kind of person that if a girl breaks my heart, I channel my energy into something, becoming a better version of myself. Study more, earn more, something that can just. So from there, I just started making more money, started doing more, intensifying my crypto and everything, made more money. Then later, my visa was being applied. I was not even focused on visa. If you like, apply for me. If you like, don't apply for me. Money was always charging like apply. So I was always wanting that I come to Brazil to come and join him. I was like, well, no problem, no problem. So I was not really paying attention to my visa. That's why I don't know more about visa processing. If they ask for any information, anything documented, I'll just send it to them. 2021, not approved. I don't know anything about whether whatever. In 2022, my passport was already 2022, mid 2022, my passport was going to expire. I went to Oshogbo to go and renew my passport. Went to Oshogbo, traveled to Oshogbo fast, renew my passport. I could not do my passport renewal in Lagos because it would take time. Came back in Oshogbo 1 week before my birthday. Got my passport later. Gave them my passport. They were applying, blah blah. But something struck my spirit during that time. And I had a confirmation where my visa is going to be approved this time. Like, and I pray to God, like, before I've been nonchalant about getting my visa approved. Like, I've been nonchalant. Like, if God wants to do it, you just do it. If God doesn't want to do it, you don't do it. But I learned something that if you want something from God, you have to say you want it. Don't do as if you don't want it. Don't be like, if God wants to do it, no. Tell him you want it. He knows you want it. Don't do accord to God. As I wanted. So I prayed and did everything, and I was very optimistic that I'll get it. Then it struck my mind I was going to get it. Then I got it. I got my visa approved. My Brazilian visa approved November 24, 2022. And my friend was there with me. One of my FUNAB friends was there with me in the house. He was even sleeping on my couch. He was in front of me. I just got it. And that was it. And I traveled in December. Even December, I could even travel the next day. Because I had the money for flight, I have everything. I was ready. But because I had issues with my flight issues and everything, I traveled in December. But I made sure I spent my Christmas in Brazil. Yeah, I spent my first Christmas in Brazil. So I spent 4 Christmas in Brazil. while still counting 3 years plus in Brazil. So that was it. And the day I got to Brazil, the day I got to Brazil, as I got to Brazil that day in the morning, rested. I didn't even rest, ate some things. But me and Manuel took me to a shopping mall. Just my flexing started from that day. That was when my flexing started in Brazil. No dolly moment though. I was not the kind of person that you travel to a country and you just sit in the country, you never really go out. It was that day I started going out in that country, in Brazil. That day. Next day, go out within Christmas Eve or anything, went to street carnival. The street carnival, just like the street carnival we have in Nigeria. People drinking, people chilling with their bags, bam, 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 mad speakers in the neighborhood, in the trenches. I'll still go and do live, or I'll still go and do a vlog. I'll show you guys where I first got the neighborhood I stayed when I first got to Brazil. That's now let's see Itaquaque Setuba, and there's this bakery that I miss. I miss the baguette there. I'll go there and I'll go and get the baguette. Guys, so I said a lot of things on this stuff. So this is Mercosur countries. This is Brazil. This is the map. See, Brazil is very big. See Brazil, very big. So Uruguay is part of Mercosur countries. Uruguay, Paraguay is part of Mercosur countries. Uruguay, Argentina. I think Bolivia is Bolivia part of the Mercosur countries. Bolivia, yes, Venezuela, and Argentina. So Argentina, Bolivia, Peru is not part of the Mercosur countries. Ecuador is not part of Mercosur. Venezuela is part of it, yes. Ecuador is not part of it. It's still far. Suriname is not even part of it. So guys, I will be leaving now because I need to prepare. I need to get out of this house. I'm going somewhere. I'm going to play special. So that is it. So this is it for it. Comparing passports. I've talked about residence. I've talked about a lot of things. I've talked about a short story about how I got to Brazil. How I applied to Brazil. And maybe later I'll just cut this video into sessions. So I think I've been on this live for almost 2 hours plus. So guys, I'll see you when I see you. Thanks to those that have joined, to those that shared the link. And if you are watching this video, if you're just joining now, you can always go back to go and watch it. I've said a lot of things. So this is Brother HQ signing out. And luckily I still have energy, even though I'm tired. And that was it. Guys, peace out. Valeu, obrigado. I'm signing out. We'll see when is the next live. I don't know.